Immortals Fenyx Rising tells the story of Phoenix that lived in a world of Greek mythology. Phoenix's mission is to save the gods in order to defeat Typhon. Hey, I'm Matt, and in this video we're going to talk about 10 good and bad things in the game Immortals Fenyx Rising. Immortals Fenyx Rising was developed and published by Ubisoft. The game was released in December 4, 2020 for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Google Stadia, PC, Xbox One and Xbox X and S series. The game tells the story of Phoenix, which is trying to remove a curse that turned the humankind into stone. The player has the option to choose to play a male or a female character, but for the sake of this video I will address Phoenix as a she. Phoenix is trying to lift the curse in order to save her brother as well. The story is narrated by the character of Zeus and Prometheus, as for this game is based on Greek mythology. Important note, I will not talk about the DLCs in this video. I must say that this game feels like Ubisoft tried to create a contra game to the successful Breath of the Wild and Genshin Impact. So let's jump right into the list of 10 good and bad things in the game, Immortals Fenyx Rising. There will be spoilers. We will start with the 5 good things. Number 1. World. The world building is pretty great. You can go to very high places and very low places. It's full of details and very colorful, and it also has quite a lot of hidden places. I did enjoy moving around the map and find new places. The map is relatively big, but not too big as to feel like it's overscaled, unlike Horizon Forbidden West.
Wait, what? Why would you even say that?
Whoa. I apologize. There are beautiful fields, interesting constructions, and amazing graphic effects. It feels like this game is without an end. Finding secret treasures, fighting bosses and mini-bosses are made of great moments that makes you want to taste more of it. The idea of this world being in the Greek mythology is very appealing, and it was very fun to meet the great Greek gods. Number 2. Combat. The combat is not very complex, but is very intense. The player normally uses sword, but there are also the special abilities of magical skills, which summon different weapons just like the hammer, for example. There is a large variety of enemies and each of them is challenging in their own way. Although this game is an hack and slash type of game, it still requires some interesting tactics in order to defeat the enemies. Using the bow and arrow is quite interesting, the ability to control the arrow is very effective. The combat itself is very fast-paced, but it doesn't really require strong gaming instinct, which makes this game pretty good for beginners as well. Using special abilities is very quick and the recharging time is very balanced. I personally enjoyed using the hammer quite a lot, it was very helpful in many cases. Number 3. Visuals. The visuals of this game are very well done. The magical attacks, the flying and the general particle system is top tier. I really think that this game holds a good competition against a similar type of games. The water looks amazing, but in the case of being under the water, not so much. The different realms are pretty similar to each other, but they are beautiful nonetheless. But I believe that the top moment of the visuals are when the character is in a very high spot and you can see the whole landscape. It is so wonderful and amazing. The special attack and the enemy's attack are also full of details and with amazing particle effects. And don't worry, you will not get tired of them at all. Number 4. Comedy. The game is full of cynical moments and conversations. I really enjoyed how cynical Zeus and Prometheus are, but with that, every character is also cynical in a way. Well, maybe not Typhon, but we can ignore that. There are many funny situations, just like finding Ares as a chicken or Aphrodite as a tree. The sus attitude of Phoenix is also very fun to see all the time. I really think that by making these characters cynical and sus, helped me to connect with those characters even more. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one. It would have been funnier if they would implement some more funny moments in the world of the game and not just in the cutscenes or narrating. But hey, we get what we get. Number 5. Characters. Although there are quite a lot of characters from the Greek mythology, I want to focus on the main ones here. which are Zeus, Prometheus, Aphrodite, Ares, Athena, Hephaestus, and Hermes. Each character has a very unique personality which make it very interesting. It's also really fun to listen to these characters talking with each other when they are not talking to you. Zeus is pretty much of the opposite of the old Hercules movie that Disney portrayed him to be. He is a narcissistic god and father, but he is funny, so I'll give him that. The dynamic between the character is very well done, and the impact that Phoenix have on them is pretty impressive as well. Together with the god, there is also Phoenix's half-brother, Ligeron, who believed to be a mighty hero, but turns out to be quite a loser and a liar. There is a lot to say about each character and I don't think that it fits in this video, so if you want me to do an elaborated video about these characters, let me know in the comments below. A quick stop for a second. If you do enjoy this content, please let me know in the comment below, leave a like and subscribe. The 5 bad things. Number 1. Not many side quests. Some of you will probably disagree with this one.
Hey Matt, what are you on about?
Well, let me explain. Although there are some side quests, it might seem that they are a lot. But no, a few of these side quests are hard to achieve or just long. But once you finish them, the only source of side quests is daily quests, which I found that are not really appealing. Annoying side quests like gathering certain fruits and flowers, or short ones that are for defeating enemies. So there aren't a lot, even though it might seem like it. My problem with this is that it makes a lot of empty space in the world. As I stated before, the world is beautiful, but without many things to do in it, it just feels wasted. I'm glad that they added the DLCs though, because this game deserves at least that. Number 2. Flying. Flying in this game was just like flying in any similar type of games. It was fun and easy, but also short-lived for a large part of it. Only after upgrading the wings a few times that it became really effective. But later on, when I've seen how big the world is, I realized that if I were focusing on advancing other components other than the wings, it would have taken me a long time to move around the map. So the balance wasn't very good from the get-go. Now you might think that you can say this about the other stuff as well, but here is why I disagree. If you weren't upgrading the combat and the special skills abilities, you would have had longer fights. Now I do agree that many people wouldn't care about that, but it's not as frustrating as wandering around for hours. I know that the game also gave the player an option for a mount, but it's just not as fun as flying. So what I'm trying to say is that flying has a really strong foundation in this game, but if they were balancing it a bit more in terms of durability, it would have become much better. Number 3. Puzzles. Although I did enjoy the puzzles in this game, I feel like they weren't very challenging. Well, some of them were, but they weren't many at all. The main puzzles are by lighting torches with fire and by placing blue orbs on a platform in a certain way. The main struggle with these are to find the orbs or the torches, which weren't hard at all. Sometimes it was a bit challenging to get them because of the enemies that are in the area, but the enemies are not the puzzles, so it's kind of repetitive. In the main game there are some elaborated puzzles which were fascinating, so I'll give them that. But in the wide world, and although that it's understandable why the puzzles wouldn't be so elaborated, I still found them too easy in my opinion. It's okay if some of them were easy and some of them were hard, but most of them are just easy. I will also say that there are some puzzles that you can pass only if you upgraded your gear enough, which I guess add another challenge, but still, it's not the challenge of the puzzle itself. Now why does it bother me so much? Well, it's because the game relies on these puzzles, and Phoenix can't progress much without them. Number 4. Upgrades. I personally don't mind farming in games, but sometimes it can be very annoying. And in this game, it is the case. The players need to gather different flowers and fruit in order to upgrade Phoenix's gear, which makes it very frustrating because if you want to continue with the story or getting new and better equipment, you had to farm first in order to be strong enough. I'm used to these kind of things in multiplayer games, but not in single player games. Anyway, without clear indication as to where you can find these collectibles, it's kinda annoying to look around and find out. Although it felt good every time that I upgraded the gear, I was like, yes, now it's better. It turned out to be not much better as I hoped it to be, which made it feel like a very slow-paced progression. The really sad part is that upgrading the characters was very slow and it required too much of resources gathering in order to do it in a very impactful way. And when I say that, I mean that I had to collect a lot of these fruits and flowers in order to upgrade the gear more than once in one go, which still was a bit of a slow-paced progression. The animation of every upgrade, however, was fun to watch. Number 5. Final Boss. There are plenty of main antagonists in games that are interesting and great. Typhon is not one of them. He is very linear and not intimidating at all. There aren't many interesting things about this character, and he oftentimes sounds like a little child that wants to keep his toys. And with that said, let's talk about the final battle with Typhon. It starts with an easy fight, which makes you feel like Typhon is a real pushover. You can defeat him quite quickly. Then the story continues a bit more and then there's another fight with Typhon. Now Typhon, as you expect from the final boss, is the strongest boss of them all, which is actually a great thing, and the fight itself was not half bad. But it still didn't feel like a final boss, especially not in the first part. The fight was intense but very repetitive, and not just repetitive. Fenyx can do so little, and most of the damage that Typhon takes is in the cutscenes where the gods are attacking. It felt like it was a limitless and pointless struggle from the player's perspective. So disappointing. And that was the list. In conclusion, the world is big and beautiful, and although upgrading your gear is relatively big hassle, the combat itself is making up for it. The animation and the particle effects are very high quality, and the characters are very well built. The puzzles were pretty much a disappointment, and the fact that there weren't many side quests were kind of annoying, and the final boss was depressing in a way. But the peak of the game and what made it very special was the comedy aspect of it. If you played this game, please let me know what do you think about it in the comment below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, and don't forget, enjoy your games.